Well, twist, turns, shock, and excitement. That's what makes the Premier League different. Of course, last night we had a twist to the Premier League title race between Arsenal and Manchester City, and also regarding the top four race. It was interesting last night, and of course, we are here to talk about it as our review on the show today. My name is Toby. Welcome to another edition of Sport Hangouts, where we give you the latest coming from the ever-busy world of sports. Let's start our review from what happened yesterday at the Amex Stadium between Brighton and Arsenal. Well, Arsenal, top of the Premier League table, went to the Amex Stadium. The third time they will play against Brighton this season in no competition. Earlier in the season, they knocked out Brighton from the Carabao Cup and also defeated them in the Premier League as well at the Emirates Stadium. This game was meant to be a tough game for Arsenal, and I must admit it was really a tough game for Arsenal. Arsenal scored very early in the first half through Bukayo Saka, making his 300th appearance for the Gunners. But again, after that game, it was all Brighton. They tried to get the equalizer, but Arsenal was solid. Sometimes, when you are at this stage of the season, you are not concerned about aesthetics. You just want to win. And that was what Arsenal did yesterday at the Amex Stadium, beating Brighton 1-0 away from home. Bukayo Saka, the only goal scorer for Arsenal yesterday, and that result means that Arsenal have been able to consolidate their position at the top of the Premier League table. Now, the Brighton manager, Fabian Usler, said something after that game. He said, well, just one team was interested in playing football yesterday, and that was Brighton. And then Gary Neville responded by saying that he's saying that because he has not managed a team contesting for the Premier League title. Because if you are managing a team that wants to win the title at this stage of the season, what is important is 3 points, and Arsenal got it yesterday. So congratulations to Arsenal for that hard-fought win away to Brighton at the Amex Stadium. Let's cross over to the Etihad Stadium and talk about their title challengers, talking about Manchester City. Now, I'm very sure when we did our preview, we didn't even talk about Nottingham Forest, Man City. We were not really keen on talking about that game because we thought that it would be an easy win for Manchester City. Nottingham Forest, 17th on the Premier League log against Manchester City, was second. So it was a no-brainer. Manchester City were expected to win that game at the Etihad Stadium. And they started very well yesterday. Antoine Semenyo scored first for Man City. This guy has been fantastic since he joined City. Antoine Semenyo and Maguire, those two buys, cost City something close to £90 million, Antoine Semenyo £63 million, and Maguire £20 million. And then Antoine Semenyo continuing his goal scoring form for City yesterday. He scored first, and then Nottingham Forest equalized. And just like 2 minutes later, Rodri scored the second goal for Manchester City. At that point, I thought that Manchester City were going to win that game, but hey, Nottingham Forest scored a late equalizer. The goal was scored in the 88th minute, and of course, it ended Nottingham Forest, Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Now, that result means one thing. It means that Manchester City have lost further ground to Arsenal, who are top of the Premier League table. Arsenal won their game, and Manchester City couldn't win. So if you check the Premier League log right now, Arsenal are now ahead of Manchester City with 7 points. But I must say this, that Arsenal have played a game more than Man City. So if City gets to win that standing game, they will cut the gap to 4 points. And then I'm looking at Manchester City. Should we start congratulating Arsenal? Because if you look at the remaining fixtures for Manchester City, they are really very tough fixtures. Arsenal seems to have gone through their own fixtures unscattered. They defeated Tottenham Hotspur, defeated Chelsea, defeated Brighton. These are tough games. Arsenal have been able to get 9 points out of 9. For Manchester City, it doesn't get easier for them. Apart from the fact that they have a two-legged affair against Real Madrid in the Champions League, Manchester City will still play against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. They expect to play against Aston Villa as well. They are still going to play against Crystal Palace. So, tough game for Manchester City and potential. Teams. These are teams that could drag Manchester City. So, it doesn't get easier for Pep. Pep was really very angry yesterday in that post-match press conference, but it's what it is. Arsenal have not won the Premier League title. Yes, they won yesterday, and now they are 7 points ahead of Manchester City. But mathematically, realistically, Manchester City, they are still in the title race. By the way, Arsenal will take on Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium, and that will be early next month. Before that time, they will play against City in the final of the Carabao Cup. So, it's Man City Arsenal this season. That fight is becoming intense. They will both meet in the Premier League, and they will meet in the Carabao Cup as well. So, wait to see how that one pans out at the end of the season. Let's cross over to, let's leave Manchester City and let's talk about their neighbors, Manchester United. Now, I remember I told JJ that I had a feeling that Manchester United was going to lose their first game under Michael Carrick. And the reason why I say that is that, wow, St. James's Park is one of the toughest ground that you can play in as an opposing team, because yes, they have lost 5 games at home this season, but if you're a big team and you visit the St. James's Park, it's always very hot, very, very difficult. And then Newcastle United showed United why it is always difficult to play against them at St. James's Park yesterday. Interestingly, they got a red card in the first half, and we thought that, well, United, they were going to capitalize on that. By the way, they scored first. Casemiro got the equalizer for Manchester United, and with practically the last kick of the game, Newcastle United defeated Manchester United, and then handing Michael Carrick his first defeat as Manchester United interim manager. Well, we don't know whether to talk about this as well, because after that defeat yesterday, United fans have started talking about the future of Michael Carrick. Some are saying, well, he's not good enough, they should get a bigger manager in the summer, but that's just one loss. I mean, Michael Carrick has been impeccable for United since he became the manager. By the way, he has only lost 1 game, and that was the game yesterday, and against West Ham United ended 2-2. So that tells you that Man United have been doing fantastically well under Michael Carrick. But again, what happened yesterday, I would say more like a reality check for United. Well, they have not qualified for the Champions League because there are still great games remaining to the end of the season. Man United will still face Chelsea. They will still face some other teams as well in the Premier League. So for United, well, reality check, wake up call for United. They need to, and it's also a good one because United, they are out of the FA Cup. They are playing once in every week. But right now, it's like they are going to play once in 2 weeks, because the games this weekend, they are FA Cup games, and United, they are out of the FA Cup. So they can just focus on the Premier League. Let's talk about Chelsea Football Club. Now, Chelsea surprised many yesterday, but I was not really surprised because I already predicted that they were going to beat Aston Villa at Villa Park, and that was what we saw yesterday. They came back from a go down, fantastic performance. João Pedro scored a hat-trick for Chelsea, his 17th goal for Chelsea across all competition. And then I'm looking at Aston Villa, a team that started the season very well. Right now, they are in the danger of missing out of Champions League football, as at November, they were challenging for the Premier League title. But right now, if you ask Unai Emery, the manager, he will tell you that, well, it's under pressure, because right now, they can realistically miss out on Champions League place ahead of next season. So that tells you what the Premier League is about. I mean, the Premier League is the Premier League. It's not like other leagues. Because you're a big club, when you're facing a smaller team, it doesn't give you the courage. It doesn't give you the assurance that you're going to get 3 points. You need to work to get 3 points. And that was what we saw yesterday. Of course, there will be a break in the Premier League this weekend. Games this weekend will be FA Cup and a sprinkle of Premier League games as well. But right now, Arsenal, they are top, 7 points ahead of Manchester City. City have played a game less. And Chelsea, with that win yesterday, they've moved up a bit in the table. For Liverpool, they lost 2 days ago to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Maybe they will have the time to redeem themselves when they take on Wolverhampton Wanderers on Friday in the FA Cup. Well, that's all we have for you, a review of what happened yesterday. And of course, remember to like, share, comment, and of course, subscribe. We'll be willing and very happy to hear from you. Thank you.